I okay now?
Bring it up a tiny bit.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I think I pressed the wrong button somehow.
That's okay. It just sounded
Okay.
like you had relocated in the 15 minutes since we last chatted from
Right, I
your
know.
quiet Nebraska home studio, little
I
cozy
know.
nook to the ocean.
To the Pacific Ocean. Nobody knows where we are. We're just in, this could be a whole mirage. I could really be by the Pacific Ocean.
It's true. Well, I'm going to say once again, welcome to the 50/50 hour with my special guest this month, the wonderful Hope Dunbar from, what is the name of your town again?
Utica.
Utica, Nebraska. Because there is one in New York too, I'm sure you know.
There is. This is Utica, Nebraska. Not as big as Utica, New York.
Yeah, I've never been to Utica, New York, even though I'm from New York State. Never been
Oh,
there. But
neither have
I'm going to ask you to start off with a song that kind of introduces you in a really cool way. So,
Yeah.
what's the title of it?
The song title of this is I Write. It is. Claudia's right. This is kind of the autobiography. I live in a small town with my husband and kids in a 3-bedroom house. I work, not anymore, part-time at a barbecue joint down on Highway 9. Then the weekend comes and I sing songs set by set, 45 minutes long, and I sell CDs, but mostly I don't. Then I pack up my gear and I drive home. I drive home. I drive home. And I write in the morning at the breakfast table, in my bathrobe and slippers, in the margins of the junk mail. I write in the morning and I sing 'em at the bar where they pay me in beer and put dollars in my tip jar. I write in the morning when no one else is home, then I sing 'em real loud, but only when I'm all alone. I write like a sailor knowing the ship is going down. This is my flare in the night, hoping one day I might be found. I might be found. And I clock out smelling like French fries, and I buy a weekly paper for the classifieds, 'cause I got bills to pay and mouths to feed. And tell me, what would you do if you were me? 'Cause I read what they write in the magazines about the next big thing on the music scene, and my name's not there. They don't come to my shows, and I try not to care that they don't. I try not to care that they don't. And what would you do if you were me? A stay-at-home mom on a dead-end street. And what would you do if you were me and all you knew how to do was sing things and daydream? And what would you do if you were me? 'Cause the world doesn't need another B-grade CD. And what would you do if you were me? You pick up your pen and you'd write your story. I write in the morning at the breakfast table, in my bathrobe and slippers, in the margins of the junk mail. I write in the morning, then I sing 'em at the bar where they pay me in beer and put dollars in my tip jar. I write in the morning when no one else is home, then I sing 'em real loud, but only when I'm all alone. I write like a sailor knowing the ship is going down. This is my flare in the night. This is my flare in the night. Oh, this is my prayer in the night, hoping one day I might be found. I might be found, but if I'm not, I'll keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. I'm realizing I forgot a couple things, and the biggest thing I forgot is that, I wanted to download the sound of like stadium applause.
Oh, that would be so nice.
Maybe just club. Yeah, maybe just club applause. That might be a
Hey,
little
I'd
jarring.
take coffee shop applause at this point. I haven't heard any applause for many a month.
I know, and we're all going kind of crazy about that, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, us in the performing arts, man, it's not easy.
Have you had like any gigs at all, or just no? You're just hunkering down.
Yeah, I haven't had any gigs.
Yeah,
What about you?
I did have like one or two, and it was just too weird. And there was a COVID scare, and that was like in July, and I said no, and I like scurried home and said, let me do streaming because that's the only thing that really makes sense anymore.
Right.
So I realized I hadn't put this up before, and I wanted to remind people that our stream is free, which it's always free. But if you want to tip like you would if you were seeing Hope in Utica, Nebraska, at the little place that she was playing at that song. She's played a lot of bigger places, But if you want to, I remember my first gig was at a place that was past the tip jar when I was 18.
Oh, yeah.
Right after I turned 18, ran out to that bar and was playing. And I thought I was going to be a great success because we got like $180, and that was a lot of money. Yeah. And
That's
I was
a
like,
good get.
I can quit my job. Like, this is no problem.
Totally.
But,
it's a good get.
But anyway, tips are running across the bottom. We share them equally. And we just put up one address to make it easy for you so you don't have to, memorize things. It's my Venmo at Claudia Gibson Music or paypal.me/Claudia T. Gibson. And then I put up our web addresses too, so you can join our mailing list.
Awesome.
So Hope, we met a few years ago at Swerfa. I remember exactly when I met you because it was at a place that doesn't even exist anymore. The first night of the Southwest Regional Folk Alliance Conference, they have an open mic at Threadgill's.
They do.
They had
They
an
did.
open mic. Yeah. And Threadgill's North. And you came in, and I was sitting with some people who knew you, and you got up and you played that song. And I was like, wow. I was so blown away because I could relate to a lot of what you were saying about writing in between, and that's how I kind of tried to do it for years, and it never like really worked out for me. It's from this album. Yes, I'll have it here.
It is from Three Black Crows.
It's a lovely album.
Oh, thank you.
And but it's very optimistic, but it's kind of resigned at the same time, and you kind of have that commingling of the exhaustion of a tough job, raising a family, with the exhilaration and the need to write. So how did that song come about? Like, what was the seed for it? How did it sprout out?
I can tell you exactly. I know exactly where that song came from. I remember wanting to write a song, feeling like the need to do something creative and the need to write a song. And I remember coming from the place of, I want to write what's happening exactly right now. Like, I wanted to just document a moment in history.
Wow. So like just a little slice of snapshot of you.
I did. I just wanted to make a snapshot of what life was like in that moment. And I sat down and I started writing it. And I think that when I wrote it, it kind of came out essentially, I did do some edits, but it did come out from top to bottom. I believe it kind of came out the way that I sing it mostly now. There might be a few things I've changed, but essentially it's the same.
And your kids were younger when you wrote that song, obviously.
My kids were younger when I wrote that song. I was staying at home and working part-time as like a lunch waitress at a barbecue restaurant, and I was doing exactly that. I was working days because I didn't want to work weekends because I wanted to play shows on the weekends, and I would, live the dream of driving out to Omaha to go play some bar and pass the tip jar and pray that there's some dollars in it and know at least I'm going to get some free beer out of this, and then drive back home.
Drive back home. Not too much free beer, right?
Not a hell of a lot of free beer, right? I was a very cheap performer. They're like, oh, her? Yeah, she can play whenever. She barely drinks at all.
Well, I want to ask you more about, how you started, but I'd like you to I would love it if you could play one of your newer songs.
Yeah.
From your unreleased
Sure.
They're there on the web for people to listen to, kind of a sneak preview right now, but they haven't. They're kind of unreleased because you're not touring yet. So tell me which one you're going to play.
So I'll play How Beautiful the Tall Oak Tree.
Oh, I love this one.
And I don't know if you know this, Claudia, but the record You Let the Light In, which is not officially released yet, it's a collection of songs that I wrote for other people. And
I
so
didn't know that.
It is a collection of commissioned songs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so this song is called How Beautiful the Tall Oak Tree. How beautiful the tall oak tree, where birds nest and honeybees fill their honeycombs among their leaves. How beautiful the tall oak tree. How steady are her roads, so strong, a wooden anchor she relies upon. When the winds pick up and the storm clouds loom, how steady are her tree roots. But when it's fair and when it's sunny, she dreams of a river softly running. And when the birds fly off in winter, she dreams she is an ever-running river. The lightning strikes have left their scars. The lovers etch their names in hearts with the rings to prove the wisdom gained. The tall oak tree, she still remains. The tall oak tree, she still remains. And when it's fair and when it's sunny, she dreams she is a river softly running. And when the birds fly off in winter, she dreams she is an ever-running river. How beautiful the tall oak tree. How beautiful the tall oak tree. How beautiful the tall oak tree.
Yay. I remember hearing you do that at the Kerrville Folk Festival. Yeah, that was another thing we shared. We were both in the folk competition.
That's right.
Which was
awesome.
Crazy. Awesome and crazy.
Crazy awesome.
Yeah,
and I
something.
And
Go ahead.
You weren't you a finalist again this year?
No, I wasn't.
I was gonna lament the sadness of the 2020 finalists, but I'll save that for another date.
Well, I'm kind of glad. I mean, they're all great people, and I feel kind of bad for them. It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Well, it was my first time competing there, and was it your second or third?
Third.
Yeah, and I found it pretty overwhelming. And it was like so hard to process while it was happening. So, I mean, are you going to continue doing song competitions, or is that part of your life kind of over right now, or you're not sure? Well, when they come back.
Right, when they come back, who knows? When I have been very fortunate to be able to go to Kerrville New Folk, which I mean, is a very highly esteemed songwriting competition. I feel so honored to have been a participant 3 times. After that third time, I thought to myself, it's time for me to graduate. Like, it's time for me to at least graduate from this place. I've been so fortunate to have so much love and support and awesomeness in this experience. And now it's time to hopefully open my spot up for somebody else who needs to be in there and soaking that up and meeting those people and singing those songs in that environment. I mean, just being part of that magic. So there was a time where I thought to myself, I think I'm done with competition. Of course, now it's like, well, never say never. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who am I? Who am I to turn my nose up at any opportunity to try to sing in person?
And
ever?
maybe at that moment in time,
Right.
it was just like, I've had enough and I need a break. But
Right.
now we're all having a very long break from everything. So
Exactly. Like, we're good and rested and
Yeah.
we're ready to get out there again.
Yep, this is
Yep.
true. This is true. Well, I'm going to
You're
play
going to
it
sing
too.
one, right?
I
Yeah,
am.
Please.
Yeah,
Please.
I'm going to do a song. Have you found, and I'm tuning, so I'm chatting while I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Have you found it difficult to write during COVID, or at least to start? I'm starting to write again, but I found that the first couple months, after March, it was kind of like I just couldn't. It was really hard.
It was extremely hard.
Yeah.
It was extremely hard at the beginning. I was very much kind of a wreck at the beginning of COVID. And then right around the middle of April, I kind of decided it's time to dust myself off and get back out there. And thankfully, I found some online creative communities that really encouraged me and pushed me to start writing again. And I'm the biggest gift of this COVID era so far has been the time I've been able to spend writing. So I've actually been writing a lot and I love it. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Sing us a song.
I am. I'm going to sing this song, and I'm going to mute you if you don't mind. It's
Yep.
okay. Make myself big because I can do it because I'm producing things here. So if you notice me looking down and doing a lot of weird things, it's because I'm trying to do 3 things at once. But this song was one of the first songs I wrote, and I know that Heather Miller is listening. Hi out there, Heather. I'm trying to post comments. That's why I was kind of looking at things. But I'm grateful to her because she's in my songwriting group. And we had, it had kind of fallen apart because it was like, well, just, post if you can. And everyone was so freaked out about COVID. And then Heather came in and said, I've just got a bunch of words here and, see if you can use them. And I came up with this song and I'm not quite sure yet if it's a keeper, but I like it. So I think I might keep working on it a little bit. It's called Boot in the Yard. There's a boot in the yard. It's filled up with rain. I don't know how it got there, or why it remains. There are clouds in the sky and ice in my veins. 'Cause I don't feel nothing no more. I was a gambler, I bet on your face, my perfect companion, you left without trace. Now the years made us strangers, our love's been erased, and we don't feel nothing no more. We don't feel nothing no more. And sometimes I wake up hearing the night wind. It sounds like a voice, then thunder and light and begin. Yes, time keeps on marching. We take what it brings. There's gold and there's garbage. Red morning birds sing with their melodies, teasing the secrets of spring. We might feel something once more. Well, my home is a planet that hurtles through space, while a boot in the yard is in need of a lace. Like we need understanding, a warm and safe place. So we might feel something once more. So we might feel something once more.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you
When
so
did you
much.
write that?
When did I write that? It was spring. I wrote it. Look, I put the date on it. May 15th. Yeah, May 15th.
All right.
So, and I wrote 2 months into COVID.
Hey,
But yeah, and
that's something.
so yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. I don't know why I'm not. Usually, I can put up all the remarks people are making because I'm seeing them, and I can't see them. But anyway, onward.
I also can't see them, but I'm also great at not seeing stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm going to go up here for a second because I wanted to tell everyone that you have 2 new albums, not one.
Two.
Our Hopi wasn't satisfied to do one.
Old
2.
Hopi made 2.
2. You let the light in Sweetheartland, one word.
That's right.
And you're so kind that you put them up there for people to kind of secretly investigate.
Yeah, so
At
right
your
now,
website.
if you don't know, if you're watching and you don't know, if you go to Hope Dunbar Music right now, both records are available for you to just go ahead and listen to them. Just give them a listen. I'm going to take them down actually by the end, probably by Sunday. So you got a couple more days to listen to them, and I figured to myself, you know what? What can I do but give them my heart? And by heart, I mean music, and by music, I mean songs. And why not? Go listen to them.
Yeah, no, they're great. And I wanted to ask you, there was a couple songs that I just was just jotting down stuff, and you had this song. You said these were written for other people.
Yeah.
So that's what love does. It sounds like it would be played at a wedding. Was it for a wedding? Because it sounds like it's so classic. It's like that
thank you.
classic love story. You know, I could hear it in a film, or I could see couples dancing to it, like, oh, I want that song at our wedding. You know. Maybe it could be in a film, and then everyone will want it at their wedding, and then you'll
Yeah,
just
man.
be...
Are you getting married? Are you getting married? Do you need a song? I've got one. Talk to me. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that song was you know what was great was in these commissions, I did talk to the person who I was writing for. But I also in some ways asked them for kind of artistic license to think about them and think about their life, and then like allow myself to use my imagination to kind of honor them. So it wasn't a lot of songs that were like details about when grandma took us on the Disney cruise
Right.
back when my parents had their 25th wedding anniversary. It wasn't that kind of songs. It was a lot of songs where I was allowed to really play. And what I hoped to do was just honor the spirit of the person who I wanted to write for. And in that situation, this was a love story, a very wonderful love story of 2 people who found each other later in life.
Oh.
And 2 people who were really looking for something special and in particular and singular, and 2 people who found each other older and found rest, because that's what love does. It creates a safe place. It's rest. It's being able to show up exactly as you are, and the longer you live, kind of the few bumps and bruises, the more bumps and bruises you might have. And isn't that the beauty of love, that it just allows you to be bumped and bruised and,
Oh, yeah,
and
that's-
embraces you anyways.
And I was going to ask you, if it was from obviously it's from common experience because you've been married a long time,
Yep.
And, that's my New York coming out, Hope. But there's a line in it I just love that, that's what love does. It sees us in a crowd for who we are, battle scarred and beaten down. And it's just, it's great. So I want to, if you could play it, I will shut up.
It would be my pleasure. Oops. First I gotta play it right, and it will be my pleasure. You needed a soft place to land, and he was there. A man as warm as the sun, with a heart to share, someone to reach out his hand, ask you to dance and lead you to the floor. Put his hand on the small of your back, pull you close and sway back and forth, because that's what love does. And he sought a spirit untamed, and you were there. So he walked up and asked you your name, totally unaware of the band packing up, of the bar clearing out. It all fell away like curtains coming down, and he craved your touch, so he asked you to dance, felt the rush of his blood when he held your hand, because that's what love does. That's what love does. It sees us in a crowd for who we are, battle scarred and beaten down. That's what love does. With eyes unafraid, it crosses a crowded room and asks us our name, holds us close and keeps us safe, because that's what love does. And you could have been anywhere in the world, but you were there. And he could have seen some other girl by some other magic floating in the air. And it's funny to think all those years ago you hadn't a clue about what you now know. And the man you call yours was just a guy in a bar, and he asked you to dance, and now here you are, because that's what love does. Yay! Thank you. Thanks for asking for that one. I haven't played that one. I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, I gotta practice that one. I have not played it.
I know, and I realized afterwards that wasn't even one of the ones that I said, but when you said, "Oh, these were on commissions," because I know you have so many cool things on your website. People
Why,
should check it
thank
out.
you. I know it's a little cluttered.
No, but it's like you have Patreon, which people can join if they're interested in
Do you have
becoming your
That's right.
patrons. And was
Patreon.
that a part of a Patreon type thing, or was it just someone?
Oh, good question. So remember how you mentioned that first record, Three Black Crows, early in the broadcast?
I do. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I kickstarted that record, and one of the rewards was you could get a song written by me.
Oh, that's a nice reward. Wow.
It's a great reward.
Because that's a big, that's the big deal one where someone gave a nice, they really supported you, and
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I also gave it away for a very affordable price.
Oh.
So I had a lot of commissions to write, and honestly, those commissions turned into You Let the Light In.
Oh.
So it was a
wow.
really fun progression. It went from people
How
backing
cool
my
is
first
that?
record
Yeah.
to becoming the second record. I thought it was a really important thing to do, and I just loved it. I loved that project.
Oh my gosh, that's so great because it's like so positive because people are giving you, financial support so you can make this because, obviously most of us can't unless we're wealthy. And so, they're doing that and you're offering this in return. I'll write a song. And then that becomes, they know like, oh, that was my story. So you've made a fan for life and they're going to tell everyone. And it's just beautiful, actually.
I hope, here's the, so here's my visual.
Ooh, hold that up to the camera there.
Trying to get to the camera.
Down.
You let the light in.
It's really nice. It's really, and I was going to say, you're very polite because you said to Claudia, thank you. You were, I was like, I don't know for what.
For kickstarting the record.
Well, I don't think I kickstarted it because I just bought it after that one. I hadn't even known you that long. And
hell, if you bought it, thank you.
Maybe I think we traded because it might have been at a conference and we traded
There you go.
it. So, but anyway, cool. Well, I'm going to do a song.
Yeah, sing me one.
I'm going to do a song that has a little bit of a story. So I'll tell you the story.
Please.
While I check my tuning because I wasn't doing that while I was listening to you. And this little poor guitar, I never play in standard tuning, so I keep my little old Taylor over here in standard tuning because it's just too ridiculous to try to tune up and down. But this song I wrote after hearing like really sad news. You know how like the music you listen to when you're about 17, it just stays with you. I mean, it's Bruce Springsteen's birthday, and
is.
He was really big when I was a teenager. Of course,
It
he's
is
probably
Bruce.
big when everyone was a teenager, but
That's right.
especially growing up in suburban New York, where he was just like from over the border in New Jersey, where we all used to go to the Jersey Shore.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, the other music I was listening to, I liked him, but I was a really big fan of this singer named Valerie Carter, and she had a very brief solo career. She put out this first album that was beautiful. It's called Just a Stone's Throw Away, and you should listen to it sometime. You'll be like, and then she kind of like crashed and burned. She had substance abuse problems, but then she became a backup singer for many years for Jackson Browne, for James Taylor, most famously when he had all those backup singers.
Wow.
And she passed away, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, and I hadn't even, I just like opened computer, read the news and saw it, and it really hit me, and I was just sitting there feeling really sad because I'd listened to her music so much when I was like young and heartbroken, and there's nothing like being heartbroken when you're that age.
That's right.
It's like the worst, right? You'll never go through it again. But then this huge black clouds just rolled in and started pouring, and so then later on this melody started going through my head, and I wrote this song, and it's called Rain.
All right.
You're gone, shook off your earthly chains. Blue skies have turned to black, and you ain't coming back. And sometimes all it does is rain. astray. A bright star fades into black, and there's no getting back. And sometimes all it does is rain. It rains like the human condition, like sorrow, life and loss and gain. It rains like the darkness on a mission to cut out any light that might remain. Some people that just ain't made for living. The spirit's too pure to be sustained. A crevice from a tiny crack, and there's no getting back. Sometimes, oh, all it does is rain. It rains like the human condition, like sorrow, music, love, and pain. It rains like the darkness on a mission, shut out any light that might remain. The voice is pure as heaven's angels, the beauty untouched but for pain. She took the one-way track, that girl ain't getting back. Sometimes all it does is rain. Yeah, sometimes all it does is rain. Sometimes all it does, ooh, is rain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Figured I'd wake us up anyway.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. And, you know, whoops, I'll put this guitar back over there. I really like playing on my
I
other.
love that. I love that hook.
Wow,
That sounds
cool.
awesome.
There was something really important I wanted to talk about here that, there's a couple more. Well, you've got a few wonderful things, but I was so curious because I was stalking you. I looked all over things and found
Please.
out all there is to know about Hope Dunbar that's not on her music bio. But you got started writing when your youngest son was very little.
Uh-huh.
So, like, what was the impetus? Did you always play guitar and sing and not write? I mean, because you got such a beautiful voice. Were you always? What made you say, "Oh, now I'm going to write songs that you never wrote before"?
So I always grew up singing. I was always in a choir. I was always, singing in church choir, school choir somehow. And I really loved music. I knew that. I also loved to write, but it took me a long time to put two and two together. So as a young woman and as like in a college age, I was doing classical voice. That was kind of my jam. I didn't know anything really about folk music. I didn't know about songwriters. I was not following the Townes Van Zandt,
You were a voice major then.
I was not a voice major, but I was heavily active in the music and vocal program. So like I was in the light operas that were happening in school.
Man. Awesome.
And I left school, and it's not obviously it's hard to get a gig in light opera and classical voice.
It's probably worse than almost anything, maybe.
Harder than folk singing.
Except for maybe like being a lute player. I don't know. At least you get to play weddings, right?
So anyways, I thought that my musical boat had kind of sailed. And so my husband and I, because we met in choir, like we joined community choirs, we joined church choirs, we just kept singing. And then when my son was very little, I had a friend who was also musical. And we decided to just get together during play dates and sing songs because we liked harmony singing. So we started doing like the library and the farmer's market, singing like folk covers in two-part harmony, and we were having a ball until one day, like literally, I remember feeling like these songs don't feel true. Like these songs are not my story. Doesn't feel true. It feels like I'm putting on somebody else's story, and I need to try to figure out what mine is. And my sister-in-law, Emily Dunbar, had been a songwriter. And I remember the kids were all asleep one afternoon. It was one of those magical afternoons when all three children were napping at the same time.
And you didn't give them Benadryl? They just were... No.
They just felt it. It was a magical afternoon.
Not that I ever would do that.
No. I would. But I said to myself, I'm like, why not just try? Like, why not just try and write a song? You're not doing anything. Can't hurt. Can't hurt to try and write. And I wrote that first song when the kids were asleep, and it like hit me like wildfire. Like, that's the only way to describe it. I was on a tear, like a fiery, sleepless tear for months and months and months.
That you found your thing. Yeah.
I wrote my first song, and I immediately wanted to write another one to try to get it better. Like, you know, like that thing they said, like Ira Glass saying your taste doesn't match your skill level when you start writing. And it was very clear to me. I had some work to do, and I just wanted to just tear through it.
But you're a really good prose writer, too. I mean, you have that blog on your website, and it's, I'd encourage anyone to check it out because, you write the blog, and then you throw it out there, and you usually do like a Facebook post or something. Yeah. And whatever I'm doing, I stop and read it, and I'm like, it just always hits me. You're a really gifted prose writer, and it's not always the case that people who are songwriters, can also write. So I really admire that.
So I started out as a very avid journal writer, which as a kid, I didn't even know it was writing. Like, my cousin gave me a journal for my 14th birthday, and I'm like,
oh, did you ever look at those? I found some from years ago.
One day I took a black trash bag and I threw all of them away. I'm like, this will never see the light of day.
Well, let's hear. And they could have been such great songs. Like, you could have had pop hits for tweens or something. Right? Yeah, right. What are you planning on doing next? Because I know there's one I want to hear, but that might be like towards the end. I really do want to hear the story of us, but I don't think it's time for that yet. But you have that. Oh, go ahead.
Well, what I thought I might do is just share a song that I've just recently written. Yeah. I've been writing a lot during COVID.
Okay, we'll go to it.
This song's called I Lied. It's a comedy number. No, it isn't. How'd you get so strong? How'd you get so clear about right and wrong? And who gave you those eyes? Taught you how to pierce through the lies I've told, and not say a word. This comfort's cold, it's what I deserve. I lied. Maybe I was scared of what you'd see if I dared to just be me. It's a start, I guess, to confess I lied. And when did the truth fall out of reach, fall out of use? And where did it go? It's up to me to bring it home. And what's left, my love, for me to do than stand right here and say to you, I lied. lied. Yeah, I was scared of what you'd see if I dared to just be me. And all I've said, you already knew. I lied to you.
That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
That was beautiful. I was like listening and looking at people who were like, "Oh, I love this
Aw.
one." And Anna Larson made lots of hearts, and,
Oh,
which is nice. We have friends listening.
it's so great. I wish I could see the
wrong one.
friends. Friends, I know you're out there. I know you're listening, and I thank you. I wish I
Well,
could see them, but I believe that I can see them in my mind's eye, and my mind's eye says that is a crack-looking team of Facebook Live watchers.
Well, Heather just gave you a heart, and we got
Aw.
hearts. Oh, and tears, and our friend Bob Hillman said, "Ladies, he's just
Bob?
tuning in from the doctor's
Bob.
appointment with a 13-year-old, and he even gave the diagnosis. It's
Dang it,
allergies,
Bob.
so-
Oh.
Yeah, and my friend Julie Grower in Nashville, she sent a little applause button that I can use for next time. So that's pretty awesome.
Adding to your tool belt of amazingness for your Facebook Live.
Yeah, it'll be great. What I was going to ask you,
Yeah.
because this next song I'm going to play, I kind of retooled it. It's from my first album, Step by Step, that I recorded
I love
with a
that.
band.
I love that record.
Thank you. That's really nice of you. It's the only full-length one I have. Then I did an EP, but it's time for another one. But I'm kind of like, you know, yeah. And I have a lot of songs I've gathered, but anyway, let's forget about that. We're not going to do angsty stuff. No angsty stuff. But like you know, I recorded like your most recent stuff. I recorded with a band because my producer Gordy Quist is like one of the co-leads of Band of Heathens, and those
Wow.
guys they're all just great studio guys too. And including one of the guys who was in the band at the time, he's not anymore, Scott Davis, who plays everything. He played so many things that we had to hire a different bass player for the so he could play all his different instruments when we did the CD release gig. But I recorded this song. It's called End of Days, and I started writing it years ago when the line just came to me: hurricanes, wildfires, seems like Mother Nature's running wild. And
Oh, man.
yeah, and now it's like, and I kind of finished it after we had a terrible flooding here in 2015, where just people were wiped out right down the street from me, like whole families and you know, and kids. It was just horribly tragic, and I finished it after that. And but lately with the COVID stuff, I wanted to, and it was never one of my favorite songs. I felt like, oh, it's too rock and rolly, and I don't know, I wasn't thrilled with the arrangement that I made. And then I just slowed it down, and now it's like one of my favorite songs. So have you ever done that? Have you ever retooled something?
No, I should though. I have not, but I should.
Well,
That's good inspiration to know that you did it.
I'm gonna play this one, and
Please.
and then we'll have another one from you. So
Yeah.
And thanks everyone who's listening. It's like it's so great because I know there's a lot of friends out there who are songwriters too, and I know we're all nerds. We like to, you know, talk about it, and songwriters get together, and it's crazy. But thank you for tuning in, and thank you for those people who aren't songwriters who are tuning in, and that you find it interesting because you're there. So this is End of Days. Hurricanes, wildfires, seems like Mother Nature's running wild. Is this the end of days? It feels like the end of days. River floods, house is gone, left in mud just to carry on. Is this the end of days? Feels like the end of days. Preacher says, but you need religion. Get down on your knees and seek a vision. Wind blowing in like like it's Judgment Day. Maybe this world's gonna wash away. 2 by 2 was his plan. 40 days till they hit the land. Was it the end of days? Oh, it seemed like the end of days. Rainbow sky journeys end. Send him out just to start again. Was it the end of days? No, not the end of days. Forget waiting, sister, for your deliverance. Just making a move can make a difference. No use worrying about the Judgment Day. All of your fears are gonna fade away. Got to live this life with all that's in it, 'cause time keeps ticking to the Judgment Day. I don't want these years just to waste away. Are we lost, me and you? Where is love? Will we make it through? Is this our end of days? Is this our end today? Is this our end day?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks.
It's very appropriate for this time.
Yeah, you know, you don't want to bum people out too much, but yeah.
We're all thinking it, Claudia. Don't you worry.
I know, and you're married to a minister too, so you know you must.
Yeah.
It must really, yeah. So, anyway, that's another thing. Getting let's get off that depressing
Yes,
thought.
let's. Yeah,
But,
forget about that.
But a song that did make me cry of yours is The Story of Us, because it has that line, the story of us is so much more than a song. And I heard that. I remember I heard you play it somewhere over the past, I don't know, year and a half. You played it at some, you played it at a Folk Alliance showcase or somewhere.
Probably, yeah.
And it just grabbed me in the heart, that line. It was like, you know, and it's like, to me, it was a description of a lifelong relationship that kind of trust, the truth you only get by being with someone for a long time.
Yeah.
So what was the seed, the impetus for this tune? How did it,
So,
where did it come from?
Great question. This is a song about a college friend of mine who we met at college, and we had one of those. She and I, we went to this kind of a smallish liberal arts college in Indiana called Valparaiso University.
Wow.
And I grew up in Southern California, and when I got accepted to Valparaiso University, I had never even visited the college, and I decided to go. And so the first day of college was the first day I'd ever been there. And
Wow.
my folks dropped me off, and I looked around, and I'm like, what have I done?
I'm here.
I'm here. But I wanted to do it. I mean, I intentionally wanted to go to a place I'd never been, where no one knew me. And also, I didn't care if it looked Ivy League or whatever. They seemed like they were nice on the phone. I'm like, they sounded real nice on the phone, so let's go there.
They liked me. They really liked me.
Right. And the first day of college, the girls I met on my dormitory floor became my best friends all through college, and we're best friends even until now. And so
Wow.
it was writing a song for a lifelong friend that showed up at the perfect time when I really needed people because I had no people. So. I've got the rhythm and I've got the rhyme. Got words I can use to fill a verse at a time. Oh, but I'm losing sleep on the story of us. I fill up page after page, but nothing's good enough. And we were just children on the day that we met. Indiana in August, hot as summer can get. And we sat in those bleachers and they told us to smile. And after the picture was taken, we shuffled out single file. And I walked on the sidewalk in a blank freshman daze, hoping all that I felt didn't show on my face. And I got to the dorm and I walked up the stairs to that second floor hallway, and you were there, just like you are now. I carry you with me, and I don't forget how I've got a friend, a place I belong, and the story of us is so much more than a song. And the Christmas lights twinkled and our laughter rang out, and we spilled all our secrets till our secrets ran out. Then we made up brand new ones and we all played the parts. I've got pictures to prove just how crazy we are. We got drunk at the house with the red porch light on. We had waffles on Sundays after chapel was done. Under the table and dreamin' played on repeat. And as the snow fell outside, you made coffee for me. And I'm sorry I didn't always understand you. And I'm sorry I didn't always try. And I'm sorry I lost my temper that day and I made you cry. Then we were another year older and the world called our name. You went to study your German and I went to Spain, and there were castles, cathedrals, plazas, town squares, and I swear all my best memories have you there. You were there just like you are now. I carry you with me and I don't forget how I've got a friend, a place I belong, and the story of us is so much more than a song.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for asking to hear that one.
Oh, and you got someone who
That's for
"Love
Amy.
you."
That's who I wrote it for. That's for Amy and all the girls from 1006.
That's awesome. You know, I have friends from college that I'm still friends with. My friend Julie, who's on one of the many places that's streaming. She's the one who sent me the Amazon button. But yeah, it's like you have friends for a long time, and
Yeah.
we've known each other. You know each other through a lot.
Yeah,
Well,
you share your lives together.
I know. And that song is so, what I love about that song, and it could be about a relationship, a romantic relationship,
Right.
or a friendship. But anyway, we have come to the end of our
We have-
hour.
oh, that was such a fast hour.
I know, and it's wonderful.
We got to do
but-
it again.
We do, absolutely. And I think that was like the perfect song to end on because it had a beautiful story and it's a beautiful song. And yeah, this is someone I've known a long time. This is my sister, Jackie, who is saying it's a gorgeous song, and it is.
Thank you, Jackie.
Absolutely. So thank you, Hope Dunbar. I would encourage anyone who likes just a little bit that you've heard tonight of the songs and is intrigued by what Hope has to say. The reason, I asked you on here for this reboot kind of this show is that you have really insight. You're not afraid to examine your creative process, and even when it's not pretty, and you'll just be up there like on your Facebook page, and I could tell like you've just been writing, like you woke up really early and you're writing, and you don't have the vanity of having to put on makeup and look perfect, and you're just there, and you're like, I have this new song, and it's just it's pretty awesome. So follow Hope if you haven't yet. Check out her website. Buy her new thing when it comes out.
Thank you.
And send her a tip if you like, because
yeah,
it's never too late. And if you really liked the show and you think it's people should hear it, it's going to be sitting on all the pages wherever you found it. It's going to be on Hope Dunbar Music on Facebook. It's going to be on Claudia Gibson Music on Facebook. It'll be on my YouTube page, Claudia Gibson. It'll be on just all the 50/50 hour that has its own page too. Yeah. Facebook.com/50/50 hour. So you can see it up there. I'm going to trim it and take off the beginning. But thank you, Hope, for doing this. We're going to end our broadcast.
Thank you, Claudia, for inviting me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It was a delight. It was a
lovely.
delight.
It was a delight. And
really
thank you, everyone out there.
Yep.
I'm waving my jazz hands. Hi
jazz
to everyone. And see you soon, and see you on the interwebs.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.